The Focused Warrior podcasts. My boy Aaron from across the pond, and
What's
I'm
up, bro?
John sitting in the studio once again with this cool background, brother. What's
Fucking
going
love
on,
it,
man?
man. I love it. Hey, that background's just so dope. Dope.
Isn't
I
it
feel
great, man? It's got like a
dope.
nice little vibe, little glow on my head here. We're good. We're in good shape.
Here I am, 55-year-old man saying dope, trying to act like he's
Dope.
fucking act like a
Say
teenager again.
dope.
It's like fucking hell. How you doing, man? What's good?
uh, Man, this week was different. This week was different, Aaron. But you know what? I'll say, like you say, without going into all the details and stuff, man, it definitely brought me back to level one and really reminded me of something really cool that I want to talk about on this pod, man. So, I got a good reminder this week, man. How about you?
I think we're probably both in the same space, but on different spectrums. There's a lot of questions that are unanswered. In your case, obviously you had some questions that were answered. And just again goes back to the stories we tell ourselves in our own heads, like the fucking
Mm,
shit that we make up. Like honestly,
yes.
and you know what? I think to a degree, this is both sexes, and yes, there's only two. There's both men and women, men and women. We all do it to ourselves. Like the fucking conversations we have with ourselves, those limiting beliefs that we have, like the shit that we say that either keeps us stuck, prevents us from moving forward, or always make a fucking stupid decision. I mean, it's really, really, and I've always got to reassess like the decisions that I make or the lack of action that I've put into place. So yeah, it's a really interesting one, but I can't wait to open up this conversation and shoot, bro. So what are we talking about today? I know this is going to be a slow one, I think.
It is, man, and I'll just get right to it. I think at the end of the day, man, my gentle reminder this week was my health. I pride myself every day going to the gym and working out and really just working out not only my mind but my body and just being connected with myself, man. But when you have those scares, when you have those moments that you're not sure if you're doing it right because of some made up story in your head, and you get that news that you're doing just fine, that everything's good,
Mm.
it's a game changer, bro. And so, I think that we walk around clouded a lot of times, but what I want to pose to the audience tonight and what I want to really ask you, man, is, if today was it, if you found out that tonight was the last time you were going to lay your head on the pillow and you weren't going to wake up tomorrow, how does that change everything, man? How does that look, when you lay your head down for that last time? I bet you the conversation would be different. I bet you what you'd be thinking would be a lot different than it is right now with maybe bills, with stress with the spouse, stress with kids, stress with work. I bet you all of that would just disappear. So my question is, why don't we do that now? And bro, I definitely want to pose that to the audience, but for you, I want to back up. How does that look for you, man?
Um, it's it's a scary place.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not only is it a scary place, it's a reality we have to face because at
Yes.
some point we are all going to die at some point. Unfortunately, for some, it's unexpected, and it's a lot sooner than what we really want to. And based on a lot of things that again, I'm just going through my own head. About 8 or 9 years ago, I actually had a mild heart attack. Didn't even know, but I had a
Wow.
mild heart attack. But you know what? Being the fucking male that I was, with wasn't even the lack of money at all that. It all came down to that. Maybe I've overstressed myself. So I was actually in bed. I was bedridden for about 2 or 3 days before I got up and finally started to start moving again. And doing an ECG 8 years later, 9 years later, they found out there's an irregularity here. We don't know what it is, but there is an irregularity. So you potentially had a mild heart attack back then. And I felt shit. I felt really shit. I should have driven to the hospital, but anyway, I didn't. Anyway, that's not where I'm at. So if it was a mild heart attack, and if it was my last time, and I didn't wake up the next morning, my life was what it was. Certainly wasn't going to be happy. I had nothing to leave for my son. I was in debt. Like, there's just everything wrong about it. Everything wrong about it. So looking at where I am at the moment is that what am I chasing here? Am I
Mm,
trying to like, and you know what? And we're all chasing money. We're all chasing to have a easy life. We're all chasing that security. We're all chasing the no worry. Every single one of us are chasing that. And I think if I have a look at my own personal journey here, it's like, yeah, everyone wants to be remembered for being the nice guy or the nice girl. Like, we all want to be remembered for that. We all want to be remembered for something. But I think at the same time also, it's like I want to leave something behind other than just me being a nice guy.
wow.
I want to leave something behind for my boy. I want to, something he can remember me for, not just a memory. So it's like, and this is the battle that I face every single fucking day. Like, it's got nothing to do with society's expectations. I could not give a fuck about what society thinks. What I struggle with, and this is the battle that I think a lot of people struggle with. They struggle with, all right, the thought that's in your own head based on the action that needs to follow. Is it a desperate thought process and the same limiting beliefs that you're being led by, or are you truly stepping into what your soul's telling you? Are you truly stepping into your intuition? Because that's where the gold is. But there's always something that's preventing us from doing it, whether it be we just don't do it because, we just don't action what we need to action. And we're constantly trying to justify the action or justify the non-action. So I think for me, it's like I want to be in the moment that I knew I have attacked the day without worrying about the either repercussions or worrying about the outcome, And we worry too much about the outcome in business. I'm not going to, we put a marketing plan out there, we put some sort of content out there, we want people to respond or engage, or we want someone to buy something from us. And when it doesn't happen, we get really fucking disappointed. But what
Yeah.
if? And this is what I'm now doing. What if I just put something out there and go, you know what? It's out there. If it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, move on to the next one. Move on to what my next action is. And my next action is, what am I doing for me? Am I having a sauna? Am I having a cold plunge? Am I going to do a workout? Well, I need to go back to me. So I think the biggest thing for me is not worrying about what I'm actually doing and putting out there. I'm worrying about, okay, well, I need to come back to me. I need to come back to me. I need to come back to what am I doing for me to ensure that I'm A, looking after my thought process, I'm B, looking after my health, and I'm also, fueling my soul. Those are the
Yeah,
integral
brother.
things.
That's really good, Aaron. And I'll say this too, man. It comes back to living your life for just the moments. And I know I've said this on our podcast plenty of times, but I just realized this week that I need to make sure that I'm leaving people better than I found them. And that's
Mm,
everybody, Aaron, whether whoever it is, right? I really just want it to be where I made such a big impact in the moments that I get that if I lay my head down and that's it, that I did everything that I wanted to do in that moment in that day, right? Because that's just, I don't know, man. It really just humbled me. It really got me this week. And I don't even know why it was just this week. And that's just, it's been my vision this whole time. But I think that saying it is one thing and then experiencing it is another. You got to figure, man. I mean, Aaron, you and I are so proud of our health and how well we do what we have to keep our bodies finely tuned, which is awesome,
mm,
right? I think that's great. But, you know, at the same time, I want to make sure that I am impacting so many people from the sense of I don't have control over every part of this life. I don't know every part of this life. I don't know where it's going to go, what it's going to do. So, with the opportunity that I get, I've got to make maximum effort in whatever I do. No half-assing it, Aaron. We
Mm.
can't half-ass it, dude, because then if you're half-assing it, you'll go, I'll do better tomorrow. Really? So you're going to get tomorrow then. That's what you're telling me. Why don't we try it today instead of waiting till tomorrow? And bro, you and I said this earlier when we were offline just now. Is billionaires, the reason why they do so well is because as soon as there's an idea, there's an action instantly. So if most of us would think that way, if all of us would think that way, we'd have a lot more action in this world and less anxiety, in my opinion, because anxiety, and I can't speak from, every state, right? I'm not a doctor, not saying this at all. I just know my experience with
Mm.
anxiety
Mm.
is when I overthink about a problem that I don't take action on. That's my personal experience. Everybody has their own experience with it, but all I can speak from is my personal one. And the only time I get stressed really, really bad is when I sit and stew on a problem and I do nothing about it.
I hear you. I hear you. Is it because you're waiting for things to get to a point where they're worse than what they normally have been before you start to decide, fuck, I need to do something about this?
Yeah, there's been some instances like that, man. And you and I have said this in a podcast before too. I don't know why we wait till that point before we start taking this creative action. But I think the idea, man, is like you say, to move quicker instead of waiting till the shit's about to hit the fan and you're about to, lose everything you built before you move. And I think that to me, bro, is what I'm learning now. But more importantly, man, is just even after all that, dude, even after we say all of that, it's crazy to think that something like a health scare can reset you pretty damn quick because everything else goes out the window
Mm.
once that happens. Because guess what? If you've waited that long and then the health scare occurred, that's not an easy band-aid you could just put on and call it a day. If it's something like your heart or your lungs or your throat or your, brain, dude, once that happens, man, it's a different conversation, Aaron. It's no longer about how big in business I can get or how many people I could talk to. Now it's just I just want to be better. I
You
just
know,
want to get better. And
you know,
that's a scary place to be, brother.
and there's actually one thing once you've lost and you can't get it back is when all of a sudden it all changes, and that's your health.
That's your health.
Once you've lost your health and you know that you can't get it back, like that's it. That's it. It's a game changer. So what do
And
we?
that's scary for me, Aaron. That's why I say, man, I think when people talk about their whys, my why is so scary. I don't want that. I don't want to be using assistance to walk when I'm older. I want,
Mm.
like I have my in-laws who are both perfectly fine health wise. And I don't want to say they don't have any problems. I mean, they can get up and walk around themselves. They can do their thing. They can drive themselves around. Dude, that's what I want. I want a quality life as I get older. I don't want all the decisions I made now to affect me when I'm in my 60s and 70s and I can barely move. That scares me more than anything, Aaron, which is the reason why I'll always be in that gym.
All right. So from a quality life perspective, and yeah, we've touched on the health aspect. What else? Living a quality life. What does it look like to you, and what does it look like to everyone else? I mean, when you look at
Yeah.
quality life, I mean, you can break it up into so many different sectors. I mean, so
Well,
give us an insight. What is it? What's it to
yeah.
you?
And to be quite honest, Aaron, I think what quality life looks like really is just being able to do the things that you want to do. And a lot of times in quality life, when you get older, you usually have, your family, your extended family, maybe you've got little kids running around, grandkids, whatever it is, right? And you just want to be able to say, I lived the life that I did so that I could produce this result,
Mm.
so that I can be a present, family member and that I'm not, people aren't taking care of me. Let me just break it down to that one. Quality life for me is somebody not having to take care of me because I'm so sick. That's
Yeah.
Aaron, that if I can get real on this podcast for a second, that scares me more than anything. And that's the reason why I always make sure that I have that peace of mind knowing what am I doing to get better. Because here's the deal, diet can always get better, exercise can always get better, but the truth is I'm chasing that. I am intentionally chasing that. So it's not something anymore for me that is casual, where maybe when I was in my 20s and you got the world by the balls and everything else, it's different.
Mm.
But to be quite honest, I would even speak to the 20-year-olds that are watching this. Hey man, live the quality life. I know you're probably feeling invincible right now, but live that quality life to the fullest because guess what? It doesn't have an age. It doesn't have, a certain, sex. It literally is for all of us. And at any moment, your life can change for the better or for the worse. You just got to be ready for both.
Yeah, I actually love that you said that. I remember when I was in my late teens, early 20s, yeah, I was invincible. I didn't do, and look, I didn't jump on the opportunities that were in front of me, or if I did jump on the opportunities that were in front of me, I was half-assing it,
Yes.
and it doesn't matter what age you're at, is what we need to look at doing is, and the amount of conversations I have with people that are over 50, you know what, that's my category. And the over 50, dude, you'll be there soon too. You're not far
Yeah.
away. But
Yeah.
the
Which
reality
is
is,
more the reason why I do it,
yeah,
man. I
yeah.
know it's right there.
And society's expectation of an over 50s is that, you're slowing down. You kind of society doesn't look at you as contributing as much, to society and whatnot. So I look at it and go, all right, well, I'm feeling younger than I've ever felt. I certainly don't feel, and act my age. I'm definitely not looking like your typical, 55-year-old, Australian male as well. So there's those sides of it. But the other side of it is that you're never too old to change, and all it
Right.
takes is a thought process, just a change in thought. So, and that can happen at any moment. Fucking, it can happen when you know that you're about to die. I'm going to bring back the story a little bit of my dad. And again, I've had many conversations of people's parents that have gone into palliative care, and as soon as they're in palliative care, that's it. Their life's over. It's like, I'm done. I want to check
Wow.
out. And that's a and you're watching your parents die when they're in palliative care, and that's fucking tough. Like, it's hard. But I think the other thing is that in that moment, we don't even look at, all right, well, how am I living my life? What am I doing? Am I
Mm,
living my life with urgency? And
true.
but again, you look at what society is asking us to do. You look at all these people that are telling us how to live our life as well. Telling us to slow down, telling us that, don't live the hustle life. And it's like, well, fuck, if I don't live the hustle life, I'm not going to be able to provide. I'm not going to
Right.
be able to help people. I'm not going to be able to leave, to be able to meet someone and let them leave feeling better. It's like, none of that's ever going to happen because I'm
No.
going to be literally and an indoctrinated slave doing what the government wants me to do, working my ass off, paying
Yeah.
taxes for the rest of my life. It's like, really? Do we all really want that? Truly. So I think the biggest thing and the reality slap to the face for me is when I was watching my dad die and the conversations I'm having with members and people that I meet and their parents are in palliative care or their parents have a terminal illness. That's fucking tough, bro. But I always have to go back and going, am I truly living the life that I know I need to live? Am I truly living to my absolute fullest? And I think that's a really key question that we constantly all need to ask. And that's why I'm, doing a weekly reflection. It's a Sunday reflection. A Sunday reflection is I'm going through everything. I'm going through everything in my life. Is it heading towards where I need to be? Am I getting 1% better? Cool. Keep fucking doing it. Because as long as you're getting better, I'm not going to see in a mass. Hey, I'm going to see a massive result. I just don't know when. But I'm not
Yeah.
going to wait and not put in the effort, you know, every day. So I think the thing for me is looking at it and going, all right, well, I need to reflect on where I'm at. Is where I'm at right now where I need to stay? And I'm talking
Yeah.
about everything on in life. Or do I need to move? What direction do I need to move in? And where do I need to move to?
It's true. It's so true, bro. And to your point, right? I mean, I think what it comes down to is all I'm thinking about as we're having this conversation is, when you hit your pillow tonight, do you have these conversations
Mm.
with yourself? Or are you busy on your phone until midnight scrolling because you know you're going to wake up tomorrow? Oh, what do I got to do tomorrow? Oh, okay, let's see. I got a laundry list of things to do. Man, if you're not robbing that moment, you're robbing the moment right now of being able to just lay down. And even if it's just go straight to sleep, calm your brain down, whatever you got to do, right? And I think that's the biggest part, bro, is I had a couple of nights this week that reminded me that, hey, get back to calming your mind down. It's not going to be all peaches and cream and all sunshine. That's the thing, bro. I mean, if you're hearing a little bit difference in my voice in this podcast, it was humbling. It was very humbling for me. And so for me now, I have to operate at such a different energy that is satisfying for me so that I can bring 100% to this world. Because for me, I believe this world deserves the best version of John, right?
Is
And I'm not saying everybody deserves the energy. What I'm saying is that me personally, regardless of whoever, whatever, or what I can or can't control, it's what I can control is that I can get up and bring the quality version of myself that I know I'm capable of.
you
And
know,
at the end of the day, man, it's just the only way to do that is to actually get a good night's
mm.
sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I love your approach to that as well. There's more intent, there's more urgency on becoming, well, leading, leading as the man that you need to be, or know deep down that you are. And there's elements of what's preventing us from doing that. You know, could be whatever, could be rejection, could be fear, could be fucking, judgment, could be all of these things.
Yeah,
But at the
yeah,
end of the day, what if, again, let's go back to the what if, same conversation we talked about yesterday, last week, is that what if you actually, you know, every day became the person that you truly are?
yeah, yeah. It's game changing, Aaron, and I think that's why I'm talking with such a different mindset now to people because most of the people in the world are not
Mm,
living to their potential, and maybe because they don't want to, because they have a story in their head, because of whatever it is, whatever excuse you have, that if you actually just started stepping into the potential person that you know you can be, you move. And I can only say this because if you guys have followed our podcast, you've seen the growth for Aaron, you've seen the growth for me. And if you haven't, go back and listen to episode 1. We're on episode close to 80 now. And it's just a different season that Aaron and I have gone through during this podcast. And all I can say now, bro, is that it's just a intentional feeling that I crave good conversation, quality friendships. And for those that I meet that are total strangers, I just want to leave them better than I found them. That's literally what I do at night when I lay my head in the pillows. I'm like, who can I imp or who did I impact today? So it's a good reflection, bro. And I even listened to one of the UFC fighters, really, really high level man, and he said, write your gratitude journal at night
mm,
instead of in the morning when you wake up. Because at night you can tell the story of what you're grateful for after you experience the whole day. It's game changing, dude. That's what I had to start doing was making my gratitude journal go at night instead of in the morning. I still
amen.
journal, regular journal, but then my gratitude journal got shifted tonight because it takes everything and what it does is almost gives me a grade, Aaron, right?
Mm,
If maybe I didn't talk to anybody today, well, why? What were you doing? Were you hiding all day? Did you not leave the house? What happened? Okay, well, you know damn well you're not that you'll never talk to anybody because you were on Zoom all day training. So you talk to people. Did you give them the highest quality version of
mm.
yourself? You did. Check that one off. That's a win, and so it's just next level, Aaron. That's why I say, man, I'm living in a space of gratitude today just to be here because yeah, when you just get those certain little scares, man, those little jabs, and then you get the good results behind it, damn, okay. All right. Thank
Second
you for that
chance.
reminder. Thank you for the scare, and
Mm,
thank you for the reminder of, hey, we're on the right path. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And when you get that scare, it's not fun. But yeah,
It's
when you
not
get
fun.
the all okay at the end, you go, okay, I got another chance.
Yeah,
But then also there's that self-assessment as well. So there's an element of self-assessment where it's like, okay, hang on, all right, am I doing all the things I actually said I was going to do, or am I
mm,
fucking lying? You
yes,
know, am I
yes.
lying? So yeah, I love it. I love it. So John,
That's
stud, bro, we're gonna leave it there because
yeah,
that was a really solid point to leave on. So guys, tonight, what I want you to do is do yourself a solid and do a gratitude journal. Reflect on your day,
100%.
mate.
Reflect on the day. It's the
Love it.
best thing ever. I promise you.
Well,
So
from the Focused Warrior, fucking, well, the Focused Warrior podcast. Look at that. Look at that fucking scenery, dude. Thank you, man. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your vulnerability. It's always a tough one to, kind of make it about us with the problems that we're facing every day. But I think that's the beauty about the how we've progressed from episode one to like literally 79, 80. I mean, we're talking about 80 weeks here, nearly well over a year and a half, nearly at 2 years doing this thing. And it's having to be okay with who we are and
yeah,
being okay with who we are, being okay to share our story because there's one person, all it takes is for us to share our story and for one person to look at it and go, fuck. And then one person to look at it, what we're doing, and how we're starting to lead our lives, and for them to go, okay, if it's not now, it's never kind of
yeah,
attitude. So yeah, I love that.
yeah,
And thank you everyone for tuning in. I appreciate your time and your, I guess I appreciate your support. That's probably
yeah,
the big one I want to be, I want to put out there. So thanks, Stud.
yeah. Until next week. Thank you guys. Take care.
Bye.